In solo leveling, Goto and his team arrive at the upper district of Jeju Island, speculating that the ants have begun eating each other. At this moment, all teams, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta check in, and Goto commands, "Release it now!" And they all unleash their magical energy, provoking the ants, causing them to swarm out of the volcano, attacking both the hunters and the helicopter of the Korean team. Choi Jong-in steps up, saying he'll handle it, and calls his skill Flame Spear into action, incinerating the ants. Byung-gu calls Choi impressive, but Choi responds that it's really not, as he only took out one of the ants. This is when he summons a fireball and blasts the ants, explaining that they have evolved quite a bit from last time, and now have resistance similar to those in A-rank dungeons, requiring him to focus more on his flames. In this moment, Choi says he'll test their strength, as he rides his flames down to the ground and chars all the ants in the area. The S-rank says this is the first time in a while he's played with ants, as he says back when he was a kid, he would use a lighter to burn them, and every time they would make a popping noise. Now he only hears loud explosions. Choi tells the other hunters it's safe to come down, and Ma Dong-wook warns that this plan could become like that last 3 attempts with no escape path this time. It's revealed that the Japanese hunters can only pull the ants' attention for an hour tops, so in that time frame, the Korean team will have to kill the queen. Choi Jong-in creates a flame net over the entrance of the ant tunnel, explaining that his flame prison is typically used for restraining enemies, but ants below B rank shouldn't be able to get over the wall. He then says he'll search for the entrance, as he summons dozens of fireballs, sending them through every hole. Hunter Back questions what he's doing, and the fire mage explains that the tunnels are like a maze, and without caution, they would just end up getting lost. Assuming that the queen is located in a place where an explosion wouldn't be able to reach her, they find a path. Meanwhile, in the city, Jin completes his 10-kilometer run and notices the unusual emptiness, guessing that the raid on Jeju Island has begun. Jin is sure that the hunters are skilled enough to complete it, so there's no point in him watching it anyway. Back on the island, the Korean team is caught off guard after encountering ants with eyes specifically evolved for protecting the dark tunnels. Byung-gu asks Baek if he thinks the queen is really here, since there are cases in history where the king would abandon their people to flee, but Baek shrugs it off, telling the healer that they're only ants and wouldn't know how to do that. As they continue walking through the dark tunnels, Choi gasps as they see countless eggs spread throughout the chamber. The ultimate soldier says he'll burn them all, but before he can, Hunter Cha yells, "Wait!" as she points out a lone massive egg among the rest. Byung-gu says there's no way that can be an ant egg and questions what the spawned here. Dong-wook squares off against a royal guard, saying every one of them is going to give a hard time to the S-rank hunters, but a beast is a beast, and compared to the hunters who use a range of attacks, these ants are dull in comparison. Dong-wook calls for Hunter Cha, who swiftly impales the ant's head with her sword, then uses the blade to slice through the monster's body. Another royal guard attacks, but she cuts its head in half before dismembering its body, commenting that they are sturdier than she thought they'd be. Dong-wook acknowledges the royal guard's difference from normal ants, but is relieved there aren't too many of them. Byung-gu reassures the team that he has their backs, and Baek comments saying, "I guess you're not a wimp after all." The healer responds, advising the clawed hero to stop making rookie mistakes, as he smashes an ant's body, explaining that even decapitated ants can live for 10 minutes, so their limbs must be destroyed too. Baek observes that they haven't reached the queen's chamber yet, and are already fighting royal guards, noting these ants are from the previous generation. Baek tells the other hunters that he thinks the first generation of these ants were demoted from being royal guards, and suggests they will face stronger second-generation ants and above from now on. Byung-gu agrees and prepares everyone, applying buffs while explaining that they don't only make the hunters' condition better, but also allow them to take on multiple enemies. One of the hunters questions, "If that's the case, should we each take on 10 ants at once?" The battle continues, and Dong-wook yells, "I'll leave them to you, Hunter Cha," as she stabs her sword into the ground, using her skill provoking Quake, slowing the ants and buying time for the S-rank tanker to get to the queen. The cameraman stands in shock as people over the radio announce that viewership has just risen by 80%, urging him to get closer. But Byung-gu pulls him back, warning the man that an S-rank boss resides in this place, and nobody will be able to guarantee his safety. Back at home, viewers across South Korea watch the raid with growing excitement, as the nation seems certain to join the elite group of countries that have cleared an S-rank gate. Dong-wook defends, telling Baek to jump on him so he can claw at the queen's legs while Tae-gyu fires from the rear, piercing the ant queen's face. The queen vomits acid, burning the hunters, but before it can do serious damage, Byung-gu heals them, saying, "If you want to beat us, you should have aimed that attack at me." The queen bites at the healer, but Dong-wook steps in, barely blocking her chompers, declaring that he won't let her get their healer that easily. This is when the ultimate soldier tells everyone to back off as he wraps the queen in his flames and then combusts them, blowing up the queen. The battle seemed close to ending and victory was within reach. However, she let out a powerful screech, worrying the hunters as they try to understand what it was. In this moment, Sugimoto tells Goto that the noise jamming is no longer working, and the ants are making their way back to the tunnel. Goto questions what is happening right now, while Hunter Cha decapitates the queen.